This is Cody Wiles, driver of the number 14 Superstock at Delaware Speedway, and you're watching ONTrack with KMK.
We were able to get ourselves righted here a little bit. MK here with ONTrack Weekly here on G-Force TV. We're lucky to be here right now. We had to take this deal in. It was looking a little shaky for a little bit. Weren't sure we were going to have a show because the technical gremlins are and have been still a part of this week for me. And right maybe a half an hour before the show started, my system completely crashed and we lost everything. All of the previous graphics, everything has had to be redone and reset up. Thank you to Cody Wilds for that intro. We'll see the Wild Man out at Delaware Speedway this summer. So we might have a little bit things out of whack. The audio might not be loud enough, might be too loud. Please feel free to let me know how things are sounding. If things need to be adjusted so that we can. Now we've changed a little bit up on the graphics there. We talk about what we've got on tap tonight. We'll talk about the Sauble schedule. Dropped on Friday on Stickers and Scuffs Live. And of course on their Facebook page, Sauble Speedway, able to get their stuff righted and get it out there for everybody. We've got one schedule left, Peterborough Speedway, which we already know is happening at Motorama. Speaking of Motorama, it is not that far away, just over a month away for one of the best shows across the province for anything racing related. Come on by for the 3 days. I'll be there for all three. We'll have panels. We'll have booths. There will be lots of great stuff to do. Plenty of opportunities if you're a racer as well to go out there and potentially find some partnerships at this amazing show. We've seen it a couple of times actually that people have been able to get a partner out of the show. There's always some great stuff there. As far as I know, you got the Avery and Mike Hall returning from Rust Valley Restorers. They're coming back to be a part of the show. And the crowd for them last year was absolutely insane. So you can get a chance to see them. Once again, you can get a chance to talk with a bunch of great racers from across the province. We're going to have representation for most of the Ontario tracks. They typically go out there. Racing series as well. We'll typically see a couple of those series out there. Great Lakes Legends, APC, NASCAR Canada. Always part of the tend to be at least be a part of things. Representation from the track, the Racers Corral, partners like Mighty Wipes will be there. Two Speed Motorsports, they're a partner of ours. I'm not sure if G-Force TV with Ohsweken Speedway is going to be there this year. I know that typically Ohsweken Speedway is there. So, but there'll be a lot of great stuff on tap. One of the things I do have to figure out right now is if we're going to be able to get the second screen up. So just bear with me a second. We're going to just make sure that we put this, get the right screen up on the show here, just to make sure that we have the right one. There we go. All right, so how about it? 2025 schedule for Sauble Speedway is here. Now, Brad Holmes was on Stickers and Scuffs Live, actually with his brother Tanner, and we were discussing with him all the kind of stuff that went into this off season. Obviously, it's very different off season for them. The loss of Jeff Cassidy. If you don't know who Jeff was a longtime racer, but also part of the management and the ownership at Sauble Speedway. So it's going to be a very big change for them this year. So they're starting up the year without him. But one of the things that Brad really wanted to do was put in and make a very noticeable for people. So let's take a little look at all the weeks that they've got put together. Now, Sauble typically, similar to Grand Bend, a little bit shorter of a schedule. They don't have the availability that some of the other tracks do. Obviously, they want to make sure that they respect as much as possible the county and the community, and make sure that they're doing whatever they can to not piss off any locals. And that's very difficult. They're already within a very short window of time that they are able to put on their racing programs each week. So we're going to take a look here, and this is actually some really comforting news here that for them, they're going to start their season off actually in May. Not a typical thing that they have done in the past, and this is a huge thing for Sauble Speedway, that to be able to start their season off really when everybody else starts their season off as well. And that's something that should be congratulated and should be celebrated. So they're going to start their season off with a Sauble Speedway Dash for Cash. Yes, that's right. Dash for Cash, starting the season off at Sauble Speedway. Junior late models, Bone Stocks, the Epic Racer Bone Stocks, the Roots Gas Bar United 8s, the Sauble late models, and the ImageWraps.ca Sauble Legends. This is the junior late model Big 3 Round 1. Junior late models. It's a $400. Yes, that's right. Lots of cash to start the season. $400 to win. Not only that, it is a bone stock. $1,300 to win the Dash for Cash. The United 8s, they're still going to be decided on how much they're getting. And it's also, on top of that, it is Fan Appreciation Night. That is how you start off the season out at the beach. Very exciting stuff. So we're glad to see that. Now they're off the following week. You see that they've got King of the Hill happening, but they have the Slam and Run Pro Wrestling show. That's IPW's show. That's going to be put on with King of the Hill. So it's not technically weekly racing there. It's more of a fan race. And then you go straight with that at May 31st in a 250 lap endurance race and a demolition derby. Again, this is not something they had on their schedule last year. So this is excellent to see an enduro going on the schedule, 250 laps. So it's nice to start off with a big bang, have a couple weeks off, and then get back to it June 7th for the Beachfront Blitz. And that is going to be Junior Late Models, Bone Stocks, United 8s, the Sauble Legends, and they're welcoming in the touring division. Typically runs out of Flamborough, does typically now do a couple other places, but the Ontario Pro Challenge, if you haven't seen the Pro Challenge, great. A very solid facility to have these cars on. I think that this is going to be an excellent show once again. Hope, Mark, that helps. I've turned the volume up a little bit. Thank you for telling me, because I can't tell. Obviously, I'm live on the air, so I appreciate you letting me know that the volume wasn't loud enough. I'm also fighting still some voice issues. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate you letting me know. So Pro Challenge will make their return to the beach in 2025, which is excellent for the Beachfront Blitz. And then they welcome, and now this is what's great, this is the Oscar at the beach. Now, you could not have Oscar at the beach without the hot rods. Now, one thing that is noticeable, however, is that you do see it is Oscar hot rods at the beach. It is not Oscar modifieds at the beach. So some considerable differences there. Surprising to me that we're going to have the United 8s and Oscar hot rods running on the same night. Typically, those would be cars that you would typically see United 8s run in the hot rod race as well. Sauber late models, junior late models also running. And then this is something new. We're waiting for a bit of a release on this. This is the next level Automotive and Performance Summer Showdown Spectator Races, round number 1. So this is something that we're looking forward to seeing, kind of what constitutes the next level Automotive and Performance Summer Showdown with these fans being a part of the show. Obviously, any sort of interaction with fans is a good thing. And to see that Next Level Automotive and Performance has stepped up to help Sauber Speedway is excellent. And we're glad to see it. But I'm curious to see kind of what that all entails for next year. Hey, Chris Allard. Nice to see you, buddy. So, we're just getting started. Now, the next weekend is June 21st. Now, June 21st is going to be one of the most special nights for Sauber Speedway. They have the Jeff Cassidy Memorial, as you see up here, June 21st. Junior Late Model, Epic Race for Bone Stocks, Sauber Legends, and a special Jeff Cassidy 75 lapper in memory of the man himself. Obviously, we would prefer not to have memorials because we'd rather these people still be with us, but a nice way to tribute Jeff, who really believed in this speedway and really put a lot into it, wanted it to succeed. I was lucky enough to meet Jeff at Motorama last year, and one of the friendliest guys out there, and I still have his business card, and it feels right to keep a hold of his business card for right now. Canada Day Bash, day 1 and 2 on June 28th and 29th. As you see, the visiting, it's a lot of touring actually on those in this weekend. It's visiting Can-Am Midgets, Outlaw Midgets, and the Ontario Sportsman Series will make their one and only trip to Sauber Speedway in 2025. That's right, OSS is only making one trip this year. So this is that weekend. Along with them, Bone Stocks on both nights. But if you look here, this is the second night. A Bone Stock Invitational for 50 laps. And it's another $1,300 to win. And you know what? The best part is that it's on the Sunday. It's on the 29th. So this is definitely a great thing that they're putting this together. Thoughts on the South Buxton blindfolded and snow race? I'm all for racing. Is it a gimmick? Yeah, it definitely is. Do I think that we really need racing at this time? Honestly, I'll take interest in a snow race. Blindfolded, take or leave it, really. But for me, I'm actually interested to see how something like this would work. At the end of the day, we have to realize, our schedules are short. Whether or not they're something that we need to actually have racing in the winter, I'd be curious to see how the turnout is. Obviously, if there's no snow, it makes it a little less interesting. But I'm all for Buxton trying something, especially at a track that really over the last couple of years needed some of this. And I'm all for what the Marches have done at Buxton. They've done a lot in a short amount of time. But I'm curious to see. Buxton always has a great crowd when it is racing season. So, yeah, do I think that I want to see every track do this? No. I don't think it needs to be done at every racetrack. I don't think we need to do it everywhere. But once, shoot, go for it. What does it hurt, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if everybody can stay safe and fans will go to it, all the power to them. Let's continue on though with our continuation here. But thank you for the question, my friend. Canada Day Bash number 2. Again, $1,300 to win. That's 2 bone stock races that are $1,300 to win. CGC Racing will be running 75 tribute for Jeff on our cars and merch. Excellent. I am going just for S's and giggles and support these guys. Good on them. Absolutely, Pops. I think that's what you've got to do. Again, I think it's got a conversation started, and that's a key thing here. If you have something going on, it's better than nothing going on. I think that they're ballsy for trying it, and we'll see if it works. Either way, it's going to be fun. And the best part about that is if they can get somebody like a Dirt Dog Media to show up and stream it, then I think you have a long lasting potential there, because other people can check it out, especially if they are racing the snow. I saw it at a racetrack down south that they did this, and they actually raced cars on the snow on the oval track, and it looked like a lot of fun. I don't know how doable it really is and how miserable it would be for us Canadians to be out there in the cold, but I mean, hey, racing is racing, right? Sunburn Weekend is on July 5th. We've got the Bone Stocks back once again, the United 8s, Sauber late models, and the Southern Ontario Modifieds making another trip out there. They're going to make I don't know if they're making, I have to check it again. I have to see how many trips they're making. But the Southern Ontario Modifieds will be making a couple of trips outside of their normal deal, where we typically see them out at Flamborough Speedway. But they're heading all over the place. And then we see the Next Level Automotive and Performance Summer Showdown Spectator Races round number 2 is back. So I can't wait to see what's going on with that. Then we got a week off because the monster trucks are back in town. Now that is always a great show. Lots of people show up for this. Great event for the kids. Great event. And some of those trucks are the former Monster Jam trucks. So you're not seeing slouches out there. I know we've seen at Delaware Speedway they had Avenger that was out there, and that's a well-known Monster Jam truck. So definitely go out there and support them. And be at the beach to see some monster trucks. Following on July 19th, you have the Outlaw Super Late Models making their way. The Superstock Invitational, the Junior Late Models, and Sauber Late Models. Now this is your Stewart's Equipment Superstock Invitational. A big 75 lapper for your Superstocks. And very, very fun that they're going to be doing this. It's the Outlaw Throwdown, but a big showdown for the Superstocks. I believe that you're going to see some good numbers for this. This is a pretty good opportunity. I believe this is one that they posted on their social media that was $3,000 to win. So there's no slouch on the budget this year. Midsummer Showdown on July 26th with the Junior Late Models, Bone Stocks, United 8s, Sauber Late Models, and the Ontario Pro Challenge will make their return. Kids Bike Race will take place as well. And then a bit of a warm-up, I guess you'd say, for some of the bigger action that you'll see kind of towards the end of the season. I think of this weekend is similar to like a Frosttoberfest, similar to what you see with like ACC. You've got 2 days here for Civic Weekend, and it's the Civic Weekend Clash 1 and 2. You've got APC in town with the Ontario and the Great Lakes Legends. Now, it is not out of the possibility here. There is a very good chance that you could see well over 30 legend cars. We saw it last year. And at the rate that the legend cars are growing, there could be potential to be high 30s to potential low or around 40 legend cars. Entirely possible this year. Now, they are not alone. You have the Outlaw Midgets and Can-Am Midgets once again back there for this Civic Weekend Clash. 150 laps for the APC late models. And then you come back. You've got to come back for day number 2. Legends are in the midgets are back. The legends are back. It is a national qualifier for the Ontario and Great Lakes Legends. The Bandoleros make their debut. Again, they will be doing double features. The Ontario Bandoleros double features every week. And then let's wrap it all up with the United 8. A solid Civic Weekend Clash. 2 days at Sauble Speedway. Fantastic stuff. August 9th brings you Saturday Night Thunder. And again, another solid night with junior late models, the Epic Racer Bone Stocks, Roots, Gaspar United 8s, and the Sauble late models. The next level automotive and performance Summer Showdown spectator races for round number 3 and a junior late model invitational on August 3rd. Love they're doing different stuff each and every week. On August 16th, it is the ImageWraps.ca Sauble Legends Shootout, the first ever, and it's going to bring with it the Oscar Modifieds, the Oscar Hot Rods, the late models, and, of course, the junior late models. A solid car. Now, what I really like about this is Great Lakes Legends just posted a really cool thing we're going to get to in a couple of minutes that could fit very well with this junior late model program. You got the young kids moving their way up through racing. This could be an opportunity. We see some of those young kids get an opportunity to race in one of those legend cars that night. Of course, the mods will make their one and only trip to the beach in 2025. And how about this? Season with, okay, APC in August. You've got 2 weekends with the APC late models, and they bookend August. Start the month, end the month. APC late models, the Dayco Super Stocks, and the Bone Stocks. Love that the Bone Stocks are going to be on the card. This is a division that we talked with Brad. Potentially, I think they're up to 17 registered for 2025. Considering this division was struggling for 6 cars a couple of years ago, this is fantastic to see. And then, of course, the 3-day Sauble Beach Party taking place with the Recklaws, Marianas Trench. I would love to tell you I could remember the other name of the band that's also in there, but I cannot. But I know that's 2 of those bands that are going to be a part of that. Championship night, September 6th. That's also fan appreciation. And, of course, their food drive. Definitely do that. Be a part of it. Sauble Speedway, of course, one of the things, grandstands are licensed for alcohol. Yeah. Brett Young. Thank you, Brad. Brett Young. Tells you how much I know the music scene. But a solid schedule here. You can find it all. SaubleSpeedway.ca. Make sure you go over to their website. Check out what they've got going on. Wooly at Stickers and Scuffs will definitely be trying to promote some of their racers that they're going to have in their divisions this year. But a solid 2025 schedule. We're going to have a fantastic season at the beach. And you know what? Brad really wanted, when we talked with him last year on the podcast, he really was going to sit back for the year, kind of learn the lay of the land, see what was going to work, and then maybe try and implement it later this year and really kind of give it a push. This schedule to me is fantastic because one of the things that we know about Sauble Speedway is they won't be able to compete with the tracks like Peterborough, Delaware, and Sunset. They know that. But the fact of the matter is, this schedule is attractive to a lot of people. You're putting in big money races. You're putting in pretty big invitationals and big events. I love everything about it, and you end it off with a giant party. What's more to say? Now, it does say TBA for the start and the classes. I don't believe there's any racing that weekend. Brad can confirm to me that August 30th to the September 1st will not have any racing. I could be wrong. But we also want to put out there that the Camrath Motorsports boys and CGC Racing for a Cure once again at Sauble Speedway, donating a portion of their merch sales and the special events, special events to be added. And yes, no racing that final weekend there before championship night. As far as I know, Brad also has a lot more announcements still to come. Going to be explaining kind of some of these mystery or new events that are taking place this year. So excellent stuff from what we've seen from the GM at Sauble Speedway, and definitely to put in the effort to build and grow in what was a very tough end to the year last year for a track that without question has been going through its a bit of a rebuild, a refresh, and I'm all for the effort that they are putting in. It has been noticed, and you got guys like Andy Camrath stating that this is what we want to see for payouts. This is the type of stuff we want to see. This is what you want to have. When you've got guys like that, it definitely fixes the mindset, because all of a sudden you have a reputable name that's going, and a very well trusted name as well, that is on board with it. If you get guys crapping on the product and crapping on what things are in motion, it's going to be very difficult to continue to grow it. Now, I want to bring up the Great Lakes Legends presented by Freshstone Brands. They posted just about an hour ago on their Facebook, and they've got something in motion here that once again I think is going to continue to help grow classes for this year and into the future. One of the things that we've talked at length about on this program is that we definitely see benefits for the Bandoleros and the Legend cars, and seeing how those classes could really expand in 2025. Let's take a look at what the Freshstone Brands Great Lake Legends have posted here. And this is exciting stuff for young racers. So let's go a little bit... I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring this up a little closer. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do it the hard way, guys, but we'll do it this way. So, about an hour ago, Freshstone Brands Great Lake Legends will be hosting a driver development class this year. At this point, we have 5 races for the iNext Charger class. It's a class for drivers who wish to compete in Legend cars at the beginner stages level from 12 years of age and up that are looking for experience and seat time. This group will be running under iNext rules, and they've had people asking us about something like this, so they're going to take it on. If anybody's interested, please PM. What a great idea. I love this. We've talked about slow introductions, and we've seen countless young racers move from the junior late models into higher or bigger sized vehicles. I'm not the biggest fan of that right away. I don't think kids going from junior late models into right away into a super stock or right into a mini stock. I like that there's a ladder system. And to me, I still believe you've got potential of the junior sprint / junior late model. There you go. Yes, thank you, Craig. The Young Lions, that's what they call it. They don't call it the Charger. So what I like is that you're going to have you got your still, I think you can still have your junior late model, junior sprints, progress next up to Bandolero, progress to Legend. Then you can kind of go into the bigger classes. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to see the Roadsters again. I would be all for seeing the Thunder Roadsters. Those were, that's classic INEX. That's me aging myself a little bit because that's what I used to watch on in the Summer Shootout series back in probably like 2005 and 6, maybe 2007. So the Young Lions class essentially is what this is going to be. And that's what they use for the Ontario Legend Car Series. I like this idea. I really do. I like the fact that you're going to have young racers getting the seat time before, even just before you buy a car. Getting that seat time is crucial. I mean, very similar, Craig Camerath parked up in the chat, and that brings up a good point of, for a perfect example, like his son. So Cole's been in junior late models for many years, got up to a point where he was, waxing the field, very similar to what we've seen from other cases, and got into a Legend car, but they haven't rushed into the Legend car. Taken the time to do a couple of starts and not overwhelm. And I think the biggest problem that we've seen from some young racers is the immediate rush into a class that they're probably not ready for. We haven't seen a ton of young racers be able to adapt and move right to the front. I think everybody wants to be, everybody wants to have the next Kyle Steckley and the next Trayton Lapsevich, but I like the idea of taking a slow approach, and I think something like this would be a great way to do it, especially when you got the kids that are in those divisions right now, not sure where they're going to go next. Give them the opportunity to be a part of this. It says 5 races, so it's not something crazy. And the best part about that is the series is putting it on, which I'm definitely on board with. So good on the Great Lakes Legends, presented by Freshstone, to do such a move. Definitely on board with that. And I still think the Legend Car Series, now we still obviously, there's probably some more, there is probably some more players to be out there. I don't know, Craig. So that's the thing, is it doesn't say if it's going to be a rental program. It just says if you're interested to PM or send an email. I would be curious about what the fine details are. If it's a rental, then that's interesting. I think that's a good idea. If you're going to have rental for 5 races to get some practice and seat time, great. It doesn't really identify that in the press, though. So they kind of need to confirm that. And if they did something the same in, say, the Ontario Legend cars, it'd definitely be interesting for sure. And it says 12 and up, so it doesn't have to be all young kids. It can be a veteran that wants to potentially get into these cars. It does say the beginning stages, so I guess maybe those higher ups that I'm hoping to see in that division aren't going to be a part of it. But you know what? Like I said, good on them. I think this is a great idea. And if it can get more people into it, yes, it is very vague the more that we look at this. But I would expect to get some more details out there. It's the same thing I thought with the Bandoleros as well, is, I think having options for rentals is kind of what you need to have. Legend cars doing it is a good idea. Even junior late models, having opportunities to just get people in the seat, where they don't have to go out and buy the whole thing right away. Because that in itself can be scary enough for people to scare people right away. I'm going to bring up Full Throttle now and Full Throttle Motor Speedway. What did they do? Well, now I think I remember talking about this on this show a couple weeks ago. That, all right, tracks, you need to include something that mentions your racers on your website and who they are. And look at this. I don't know if this is where Full Throttle got it from, but I love it. Why? Because a guy like me in the media now gets to see who the rosters are, who's a part of things, where are people going. But also, if you look at the opportunities, this is what you do. You have a spot so that you can put your drivers in here. They can put their sponsors on here. Now, this is obviously just started. It's just it's just getting started with their 2025 rosters. But already, what you can see is a solid amount of entries already for the 2025 season at Varney. Love this idea. Thank you, Varney Speedway, for doing this. This really does help those who are trying to do promotional efforts for motorsports. It helps that they're going to have, again, they've got their point standings, their schedule, drivers. You've got your about, rules and registration, admission, sponsors, contact. Yes, please don't be vague about your racers. As much information as you can put out there into who is going to be driving the cars each and every week, the better. It just is a better thing for everybody involved so that we know who is racing each and every week. And you know what it does? And maybe I'm in the minority here, but for myself as a racer, I always call myself a racer, as a racing fan. Now, unfortunately, this website's not working at the moment, so we'll try this one. I tend to find myself going back to the pages every couple of days to see who's been added. Now, to me, Delaware is still the gold standard here. Gold standard because they've got all of the sponsors listed for the most part and links to the social media. The links to the social media is very, very important right now because there are people that are starving to get partnerships, starving to get people to pay attention to their partners. This is a good way of getting people to know who has what. Like, I didn't know Darrell Lake had, if you go on here, like, I didn't know Darrell Lake had a YouTube channel, but there's a link to it right there. And here you are. Now, it might not be up to date, but it still gives you all their social media right up front. Now, I want to see this Sauble, Peterborough, Sunset. I think pictures of the cars is one thing. And listen, I understand Delaware would be a lot harder to do that because they've got the biggest roster across Ontario. I think Sunset's good because they got pictures of the driver and pictures of the cars with their sponsors. That's great. The one thing I don't think I want to see is blanks. So if a driver is registered but they have no information there, let's try and get it filled out. If we leave it up to a lot of people, I mean, leave it up to drivers, I think a lot of the times it doesn't get done. They got 1,000 things to do with the car. But if you can help get all that information put together. If you've got somebody from the track that is willing to get that type of information, I think do it. I mean, this is exactly what partners need to see. They need to see their name being mentioned or being put out there, being affiliated with you. And like I said, you got contacts like this. There's the link to Ryan Houston's TikTok. There's a link to the Instagrams of teams. And once you start to get people following those teams and they potentially get to know them, know a little bit more about them, know their partners, might want to get invested themselves. So social media is so key and so important. So the more and more that the tracks can invest in it, that will help as well. Now, we definitely have some minor additions that we saw added to our rosters for 2025. There's, I would say we're still quite a ways away from getting completed rosters. But right now, what I need from people is kind of if there's late model racers. I don't really have a ton of late model confirmations. From what basically I know, I don't have late models for. I got a lot of people for Grand Bend, thanks to my buddy Will McLean, who passed on that information. I've got some APC names. But in terms of weekly late model racers, I have nothing for Sauble, nothing for Flamborough, maybe 2 for Full Throttle. I've got 3 from Delaware's site, 1 for Peterborough, and maybe 1 for the prolates at Sunset. So right now, that's the class that's kind of been the quietest, and they typically are. And normally, those guys are a lot more into the social media. They typically like to post their stuff quite regularly. Let's take a quick glance at our updated names that we've got here. We'll get straight into Sunset Speedways. We've got Maya Ford has been added. She's going to be running actually in 2 different tracks. I'm going to try and do Full Throttle and Sunset Speedway this year. We expect Jackson Baker to be back. Josh Davenport. Ronnie Mason, new car this year. He is, mark my words, somebody that's going to contend for wins this year. Same Ryland Camrath. You got Kane McAllister's going to run out there. Still undecided here if this is going to happen. Carter Tayo. I have not heard anything since. Sarah Giannone in Bone Stocks. Carly Willman. Mike Balson. Ben McPherson's going to do, I believe he's going to do both Hot Rod and Bone Stocks. Calvin Reeser's confirmed as well to be back for 2025. That's great to see. I think he'll be battling in the championship with this guy here, Chris Allard, last year's champion, returning as well. Many stocks taking shape as well out at Sunset Speedway. Chris Cunnington's confirmed to be back in the 06. We've got confirmations pretty well from everybody in this group that they are going to be back. We're just still waiting on names like John Bird, Jason D'Antimo, Peter Wakeling, Eric Rainey, just to see Doug Willman, Austin Janet, see where they end up for 2025. Hot Rods, you got Dan Archibald, Tyler Hahn, Paul Sr., Jay Cutting, Josh Berry, Jason King, and Ben McPherson. 3 new names heading into Hot Rods. We already know Amanda Balson has departed that division. She is now in the modifieds. Whether she's going to run an Oscar as well, we don't know, but I believe she is on tap for some modified races at Sunset with Wally Wilson. Superstocks, Jacob Booth, we expect to be back in the number 26. Paul Pepper in the 29. Colton Everingham still back in the number 48. And then we got Cole Burrows and Matt McGrath. Still waiting on some pro late names. Expect to see The Shaw's back, Samantha Shaw and Dale Shaw, Jordan House. Curious to see what happens with Kendra Adams, as we know she's going APC racing in 2025. Some additions now to the one list that we got here at Peterborough Speedway. Kelly Balson added there to the Pro Late Division. We got confirmations. Brad Laval, pretty well retired. He's going to do a lot of tech stuff this year. OMRS, I got names from Chad Strawn to be added to the roster list, including Shane Pollock, Rick and Rob Warrens, and of course himself. As far as the Renegade trucks, I've only got Corey Horn so far. Mini stocks, Todd Latibity, John Laval, Dave Bragg, and then you got Tyler McMurder. Somebody to watch this year. Is getting better and better each year. You got Rob Crick and Chris Tubman. They'll be going to battle side by side probably for this championship once again. And the bone stock's looking very stacked again this year. We're going to add on number 99, Wayne Dewey. That is going to be another car with from Corey Horn's team. In the junior lates, last year's champion Wyatt Beatty will return in the 68. And we've also got some confirmations as well that drivers that are taking place in that are racing in the Bandoleros. All right, that is Lila Sigma, Landon Sellers, Hudson Sellers, with confirmation that they are all going to be back running both junior lates and Bandoleros this year. Braxton Sellers, originally thought to be done. He's going to come back and race as well. We expect some more names. You got your Brody Coates. Still got to figure out what happens with Lakeland Junkin, whether she's going to be back this year. We know Graceland McInnes will be back as well. Robbie Miltimore, Avery Kirkpatrick will be back. Savannah Strawn, who is someone you're definitely going to have to watch out for this year. I think Avery Kirkpatrick as well. Just getting herself used to the car in the pro division last year. Going to be looking to see what happens with the Finnegans this year, as well as Austin Finnegan, if he's going to run full time. Lucas, of course, expect to see him in potentially those Bandoleros. Again, confirmations: Paige and Chase Stevenson. Yes, Chase Stevenson is back in 2025. However, he is moving into the bone stocks in what is going to be a very young class, which will be fun to watch this year for sure. Lots of young racers being a part of the show this season. Of course, Delaware Speedway's got some additions to their rosters since we were here last week. Doug Stewart's been added. Adam Evison has been added to your V8 stock roster. On the Pro Late side, Ray Morneau Jr. has been added, as has Lloyd Rawlings, as they return for 2025. On your bone stock side, we have Matt Langford, the champion, returning for 2025. Dakota Luoma and Jennifer Hatch also returning for 2025. As we head over to what has been the biggest change since last week, thanks to their website updates, Full Throttle Motor Speedway has seen a massive increase in what we had last week. So take a look here. Maya Ford, Grayson Mason, Hunter Feist, Peyton Hamilton, and Bentley Weber, all listed as junior late model racers as of right now. Bone stock, we got Steve Gunn, Kylene Hedger, Alex Cole, Sarah Middlehurst, Junior Beats, Tommy Robb, Damian Harrison, Colin Gade, Austin Hopkins, Julia Boss, the Black Magic number 35, primary driver because we Donna Tolton in the 35 there, Jason Melson, Jeff Rumble, Dustin Johnston, Jack Quenville. You've got Josh Crawford, Curtis Halliday, Cooper Donaldson, Braden Zamet, Brandon Reed Wells, Josh Clark, Nathan Detweiler, Austin Hunt, Sandy Eccles. Over 20 registered bone stocks already for Full Throttle Motor Speedway. How about their mini stocks? Mitch Wilkin, Jeremy Duguay. You got Peyton Lewis, Tatum Grind, Anthony Newman, Jared and Seth Jeffrey. Philip, Dick, and Bob Stewart. In the mini trucks and Thunder trucks. Thunder trucks starting to get a couple more trucks out there. You got Luke and Dave Dipple, Rick Book, Kyle Garreau, Brian Penny, and James Campbell. In the mini trucks, we've got Keisha Zimick, Tyson Feist, Zach Quenville, Rick Basket, and then 2 trucks for Bubba Brown Racing. Hot rods. Now, this is a division that I think you got to keep your eyes on in 2025. Very, very solid increase in the numbers so far. Travis Farrow, Tanner Holmes, Brian Wilson Sr. and Jr., Nick Holman. You've got Jake Spar, Matt Hopkins, Thomas Wunsch, the Black Magic Racing number 70 Studebaker, Nick Abale, Nick Clark, Jamie Adams, and Austin Etzel. I think we could see him do some hot rod racing. Street stocks also looking solid. Mark King and Rob Wark, Tyler Beats, Luke Boss, Dave Gray, Nick Holman, Jim Ferrier, Nathan Crawford, Andrea Clark, Greg Duncan, and Lyle Lorenz. And then just right having OLMA right now, Norm Stoddard and Nick Clark. Now, Flamborough Speedway hasn't seen a ton of action since we last left it. They've added a couple more names, Tim Norris, Travis Marjorie, to the Pro Challenge. I think we can also officially add, because they did do a post yesterday. So we're going to actually add one right now, as they confirmed the 14 of Taylor Weber will return in 2025 to the Pro Challenge division. But aside from that, I did not add anybody else to the roster for the Flamborough Speedway. Same here for Sauble Speedway. Did not see any change from last week. In terms of Grand Bend, this was a huge update. Thanks to Will McLean on Instagram for passing on this information at a stacked late model division. We've also got the Pro Sprints that are going to run out of this track in 2025. Also an updated Gareth McLean to the 9 horsepower sprint car roster for 25. Late models: Gord Bennett, Devin Horton, Rylan Facanato, Jonathan Schwemmler, Steve Aron, Jamie Bell, Darren Wright, Olivia and Jeremy Curtis, Austin McLennan, Jacob Ross, Marcel Facanato, Dwayne Horton, Rob Glauscher, Rod Kerr, Alex Gordon, and Arthur Smitherman. Again, be very curious to see where these rosters actually end up. Whether or not these are all going to be a part of it, because obviously that many late models won't, I don't believe, fit on the track at one time. So that'll definitely be interesting. In terms of confirmations for the APC series, we saw an addition of Ray Morneau to the schedule, to the list so far of racers being added for 2025. We can officially also add on to the Legends roster the return of the champion from last year, as we can confirm that Mitch Wright is going to be back in 2025. No changes on the Outlaw Midgets or Can-Am Midgets for 2025. Same with the Bandoleros, Great Lakes Legends, and the Super Late. So this is where we stand right now as we head into the month of February here on ONTrack Weekly. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It has been a quiet show tonight, but we unfortunately were right up on the clock and we didn't get to promote it as well as we would have liked to. But this is where we're heading so far with our roster updates. If you know anybody, if you have any racers that can confirm their status for 2025, feel free to let me know. We can definitely update it. If you're also a racer and want to do an intro for us, all you have to do is do a 5 to 10 second video, explain who you are, where you race out of, your partners, and that you're watching ONTrack Weekly. Send it to me, and we'll use you for our featured racer of the week. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. If you can, leave us a like, subscribe to G4S TV, but also do me a favor and shout out a happy birthday to Clinton Jeffrey. He celebrates a birthday today. Definitely, if you guys don't know, Clinton Jeffrey is the man in charge here. At least for me, he is. And I really appreciate him. I appreciate Spencer Mullen as well, who helped me with the technical gremlins tonight, that we were able to get a show together because it wasn't looking good. So that's it for tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you all next week here on ONTrack Weekly.